All right, the next person on our list is Manuel.
We're video recording this, so anybody whose email I don't have, please write it down here so we can send you the link to the video that you're going to be up on YouTube. All right. Okay, the first poem is Metaphysical Labor of Sex.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you fuck, have you ever wondered why do man, woman, and other animals labor so? Grinding loins, palpitating hearts, and aching backs, to say nothing of a long wait for the wage that sometimes never arrives. When I fuck you, and when you fuck me, who is the manager, foreman, worker, and where is the promised paid holiday? The Zen monk Hyakujo declared, no labor for a day, no food for a day. Sitting out from a daily repast when his disciples hid his tools, so the old master would not have to work. And just as the old master works assiduously and equally with the disciples on the monastic fields in common, impregnating and harvesting crops to consume, shit, and recycle, these redundant acts of labor, slightly varying in postures and anatomical uses, force ungraceful repetition of necessary beauty for us to consume, shit, and recycle. As we couple, decouple, sink, flow, agitate, and release, this rhythmic work of no work teaches us the lesson of repetition, to live this exhaustion of tongue, limbs, and genitalia as our annihilation in a singular moment. Obtaining this, the profit margin and collective bargaining of our fucking disintegrate under the rubble of one sigh, one deeper shift into the hips, one eternal gesture. Next one's called Don't Look Back 2008. I fuck, therefore I am. I once read on a t-shirt emblazoned on a shop window forbidden fruit that the Austin Wogs are trying to organize. It was around that time that I first heard about the Zaps in the Lacandonic Mountains and learned how to use marks to get laid and steal books from the library. A young, cocky, dim-witted loser, I retrospectively think of him. No manners, delusions of grandeur, sex-addled, nearly alcoholic, headed for a life of redundant failures, picking garbage and puking in the streets. Go to jail helped. So many criminalized for merely drinking, sniffing coke, or illegal parking. But an anarchist woman who lived, Lao Tse, was the one who truly saved a word she'll no doubt exterminate with extreme lack of prejudice. Me, the first and last woman who seduced me and then wisely left me to fend on my own. The Marxist author of RCP put up with me, and later when I left Austin, the Marxist author of LH. And whatever Marxism of worth that I badly possess, I owe to these two men. On how to live freely and fearlessly, to turn the therefore between an act and ontology into the purity of the here and now, swirling in a cup of tea, as we sat in Seiza face to face. I learned from her. Though as with Marxism, I've been a terrible disciple here too. Once a beginner, always a beginner. I won't have it any other way, but I hope a little of my youthful cockiness and dim-wittedness has blunted with time. If not, so what? You'll live. Because as I imagine a future when time fades me out, I want to go anonymously, unremembered, and alone, like that sip of tea, whose rising steam cleared my sight. Okay, next is called Historical Logic of Suburi. Suburi is literally means naked swinging. You use like a wooden sword in martial arts, and you just sort of use it to practice swinging by yourself. Historical Logic of Suburi. Arc of infinity that my Bakuto draws, slashing at clear distance an immovable tree, the enduring terror, silence in my arms, muscular contortions, melt in the sweltering sun of my heartbeats. Why do individuals and classes kill, die, maim, disappear? Primitive instincts of neither evolution nor history are ruptured, loosened, and recreated again. Cycles of revolution and eternal stillness of historical materialist beauty. Return to that. Return like repetition of magnesium flesh. And aesthetics bleeds into twitters of pigeons, water bathing in tender mud, their wings swirling into shapeless echoes of zero on a thin surface of trembling light. That is ordinary life. Declaration of no intentions, even refusal of declaration. Slaughtering images of bodhisattvas, saints, and revolutionaries, defying resurrection and negation of negation in the white heat of a single blade. Cutting out passports of mechanical ideologies in incandescent rhythm, while the smoke of their gnarled ashes stings my unequivocal eyes in the raised cathedral of this forest, within and without. I annihilate temples and rebuild them instantaneously. A murmured recitation at the edge of the wooden sword imperceptibly intones as I sink, drown, and resurface on the putrid eddies of empires, infernal and invisible vanguards. At the southern stroke, I unhesitatingly kill the killing in me. Okay, finally, the last one. Untitled Lamentation for Toledo 2007. We live in a shattered glass city, picking up the pieces of our Darth-ridden lives, chasing after an accursed ghost of cheap whiskey or bad fuck. As a once and future glory of a 1934 Toledo All-Light Strikers now flows in our carcinogenic veins as forgotten marble dust. And the best among us can only tend the corpse of a class struggle, spitting and pissing on his cremated embers and jeep, factory of suicided hands, and other bloodless wastelands of devalued labor where we dream of offing the boss and then ourselves, or buying shit we don't need, getting wasted, and fucking until we drop. Only if these broken glasses could talk, the language of deracinated discontent, bleeding fists swung in empty rage against our shadow boxing nemesis who carve out our brains and kiss our thoughts, moaning for this dreamless night. If only they could talk, they will slam you against a wall and whisper intently, almost feverishly, in your ears. Now is not the time because you know too well you're a goner, baby. You didn't want to amount to shit. No Jeremiah's lamentation will ever mourn your thorny death, because he can never escape the fate of this goddamn and fucking forsaken city. Chicago, New York, LA, Beijing, Paris, London, don't matter where you are, the festering blood and bad seeds of this afflicted city will follow you. Like a vermilion wisp of smoke rising from the sacrifice of the firstborns, your finest profane proletarian rage reduced to mosaic ashes at the altar of a vengeful, jealous God without reason. You'll die without your beauty intact. No. That's not quite right. We retort to our grinning, interrogating doubles. We never had any beauty to begin with. We can't even tell when it's right in front of our eyes, which we've gouged out by a shard, not out of some Oedipal hubris, but in a fit of pure, impetuous boredom. Although blind, faltering, speechless, no fucking seer are we, incapable of reciting the Iliad of our lost battle of fallen timbers, or recomposing our class and indigenous experiences of defeat into a grotesquely searing paradise lost, prophetically enraged despite ourselves. Instead, we just go about our damn useless businesses, just go about them, as if we are the broken pieces that can never come back together, waiting for the revolutionary apocalypse that never comes, waiting for the motor mouth of our brain to stop, waiting for our children to kill us for the sins of our ruling class, waiting for a future that never existed to exile us forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Manuel.